Well, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency, and we help brands and businesses create content for their social media platforms, be it video, animation, aerial work, photography, graphical, all sorts of different types of stuff. Over the years, I've worked with many different influencers, helping them create social media content, learning as I go along as well. Having worked in social media myself for a long, long time, and in marketing and in audio marketing and in visual marketing for a very long time. And a few years ago, it became very obvious when I was running my own business that not every brand, not every business had the money to spend on having content created for them consistently. And social media is all about consistency. It's all about having regular content going out, making sure you're being seen, making sure your brand is being heard, making sure the value that you've got to give is being seen by your audience and potentially new audience members as well, so that they can become part of your community, keep giving, keep getting connections, keep emotionally connecting with the content that you're putting out, and then eventually become, hopefully, a customer further down the line. And that's what these broadcasts are all about, is me trying to help you understand what you can do yourself as a brand and as a business, but most importantly, for free. I sat down and I created a process. I called it How to 9 Times Your Social Media. I took that 9 Times Your Social Media process, I turned it into a book. It went to #1 on Amazon. You can still download it right now. It's available in the section below. And it's a process that takes you through everything from marketing planning all the way through to podcasting and all the other stuff that goes in between as well, be it videos, memes, blogging, all that kind of stuff. If you are, like I say, a B2B or a B2C business, is influencer marketing something that you should be looking at for your brand or for your business? And the honest answer is yes, kind of, in a roundabout way. You've got to be careful when it comes to influencer marketing and understanding what it is that you're trying to do with your influencer marketing. Are you trying to draw people to your page? Are you trying to get an influencer to sell more of your products? All that kind of stuff. But once you understand exactly what it is that you're trying to do with an influencer for your brand, then it's a case of literally going out there and finding out who you want to talk to and reaching out and getting them to help you out. If you are somebody who makes soaps, then who in your sector is an influencer and selling a lot of soap, and then get that person to potentially talk about your soap because they think your soap's pretty awesome. If you are a beard product person, the same thing. But you could also look at it as if you're a B2B business. So if you're a service-based business like us, as a visual marketing agency, as a video marketing agency, I could get other people like Peter McKinnon, who's a great, huge video creator, who could see my content and the content that we've created as a business and go, I like what this guy's got to say. I like the content his business makes. I'm going to mention that business within my content if he's happy to pay me money. That's the thing you've got to be really careful about, is you don't want to go to an influencer, offer them a load of cash just because they're a big influencer. They've got to align with your values, your ethics, who it is that you are actually talking to. There's no point, if you are a clothing brand and selling clothing to a 50-year-old female, going to someone like Zoella, who's going to appreciate what you do, but is more likely going to be speaking to a young teenager who's wanting to buy beauty products. Because yes, Zoella's got a huge audience, but you're probably going to waste your money because she's not going to be talking to the right people for you. So it's about always this level of actually putting some research into it, finding out who that person is and how they actually work with their brand and their business. And knowing these people, knowing the likes of Zoella and Alfie and George and people like Steve Booker and Ben Brown and people like that, as I do, I know this is how they work. They work with brands that they feel they have a connection with, that they feel are in line with their ethics, in line with their mindset. So they are, the influencers of today are getting more and more savvy about this. And rather than just quick handout and grab a quick book, they're actually starting to work with brands that they give a damn about. And with whatever that particular brand's USP is, they'll care about that as well. Be it a brand that is like, we don't want to create plastic drinks bottles anymore, so we're going to create glass drinks bottles, that kind of thing. So who can they work with and who is working alongside with those ethics? It's finding out who's going to work alongside with what you actually do as a brand and as a business. So if you are a vegan product business, then who do you know who is a vegan, an influencer, and in line not only with your ethics, but also with what your product is capable of doing? And it's the same, like I say, as a service-based business. Find people who are influencers in your marketplace. There's a guy very local to me, actually, called Carl Reeder. He is an accountancy firm. He runs an accountancy firm, but he's also an accountancy or like an accountancy software influencer. He has a huge audience on Twitter and on Instagram and on YouTube, and he does a lot of international keynote speaking. But he's an accountant. Would you ever have thought an accountant would be an influencer? Well, within their marketplace, they can be. You don't have to be an influencer that appeals to everybody on the planet. Not everybody is PewDiePie. Not everybody is Zoella or Alfie Days or that like. Sometimes it's a much smaller audience, but still in the 10s, 20s, 30s, hundreds of thousands of people will want to consume that person's content. So you've got to think about how that's going to align with your brand, with your business, and actually who you can find that's going to work well for you to use them as an influencer. The other thing that you've got to be uber careful about is actually that they have an audience that is engaged about what they talk about. So a lot of influencers in the past, and I'm not saying this is what happens now, but a lot of influencers in the past were seen to potentially be buying their followership, maybe buying likes, buying comments, all that kind of thing. And that's why platforms and companies like Stephen Bartlett's company, Social Chain, created pieces of software and worked with developers to be able to prove that brands were maybe spending a lot of money with a certain influencer, but that influencer had taken that money, used a small amount of it, bought a bunch of likes on the content that they were putting out for that particular brand, so it looked good in the analytics. But then Social Chain were coming along, running their software and going, hang on, you've bought all these, and you've bought all these comments. This is a load of crap. You don't actually have any engagement on your channel. And so you've got to be super careful. If you're going to work with an influencer, start doing some research as well. Find out how their content is actually engaged with their audience. If they have 1 million subscribers, but only get 1,000 views per video, you can be fairly certain they don't have a very engaged audience. In fact, you know for a fact they don't have an engaged audience because 999,000 people are not watching their content. Why is that? Is that because they've bought the other 999,000 people and they've got 1 million subscribers, but actually they've only really got 1,000 people who give a damn about what they've got to say? Or have they built up 1 million subscribers doing a completely different type of content, switch to what they do now, which is in line with your business, but actually the audience they've got doesn't really work because they haven't got enough people actually engaged in their content? You've got to be really careful. You've got to go out there. You've got to do that research. You've got to look at the likes. You've got to look at their demographic breakdowns, male, female, where they are in the world, all that kind of stuff. Again, if you are geographically based in Berkshire, for example, in the UK, and you only sell to people in Berkshire because you can't afford to ship out any further than that, then there's absolutely no point in working with an influencer who might be based in Berkshire but has a huge audience in America, because the American audience aren't going to buy what you do because you don't ship to them. So what's the point? Yes, it's going to build brand awareness for you in America, but those Americans aren't going to buy what you do because you're not shipping to America. So you've got to put that research in. You've got to put the effort in. So influencer marketing is hugely powerful. It's got a massive amount of potential for every brand, for every business. You don't always have to spend a lot of money. You could reach out to somebody and say, if I give you this code, it will get your audience 10% off, and I will give you 5% of that saving that they are getting. So they're going to get a little bit of money. Their audience is going to make a bit of a saving, and actually it's not really costing you anything. So there's lots of different ways of doing influencer marketing, but it's finding the right influencer first for your brand and then worrying about what kind of offer you're going to put in front of them.